inkproducts.com has now released a build-it-yourself continuous ink system for many of the HP printers that use the 62, 63, 64, and 65 cartridges. In this video, we're going to show you how you can build it using your cartridges. Now the model we have here, but there's a lot of models, is the MV Photo 6255, but there's a lot of models. Some take the 64, some take the 63. This build-it-yourself kit comes with American-made ink. I mean, it's just, you're just going to love the way it prints. Beautiful, beautiful photos. This is our American-made ink Ultra Pro True Color. So we're going to even show you how to install it. It's very simple to install. You've got one hose clip here, hose bracket here, put the cartridges in. Now you can use your existing cartridges if you want to get, to learn how to do it. But we do recommend XLs anytime you're going to buy cartridges because the print heads are better and they last a lot longer. Now, some of these cartridges could last, with the system on it, 1 or 2 years or more. Now the more printing you do, the better the system will run. Now you always want to pay attention to the printed instructions because that's where we put any of the updates that are not in this video.
For the HP 62, 63, and 64 and 65 cartridges, these are some of the parts and pieces that you'll get with the build-it-yourself kit. I'm going to go through them real quick. Right here we have some of the set screws that'll actually fill in some of the holes to seal it. This is your hose brackets, cartridge bracket, and some of the compression fittings right here. This system right here is going to come pre-assembled for you up to a certain point, and you'll have to fill it yourself, but we can get into that in a minute. Here's also a drill we supply with the kit. Is you're going to have normally you're going to have either on an original or aftermarket or whatever you have, you're going to have a sticker on here. You just basically, you could use a hair dryer or any way you can just remove that label. Under the label you'll see for the color and the black cartridge several holes in there, and I'm going to go through this right now on what you do. You can use a Q-tip, toothpick, anything. What you want to find out is the color combination each of the sections here, because sometimes they change them up depending on if you have a standard or an XL cartridge. So what you'll do is you just get a little Q-tip or toothpick, whatever you have, just cut the tip off of it, and you're going to insert it right down into the hole here, and that's going to tell you you have a cyan right here. So you can either mark it with a little Sharpie or whatever. Go to the top. That's going to be your magentas at the top, and obviously your yellow is going to be over here because you only have the 3 colors. We supply this drill. It's the perfect size tip there. What you're going to do is you're actually going to tap the top of these cartridges. You see all the holes that we found out which color is in which. Now you're just going to take the tool. I've done a couple of these already, but I'll show you how to do it. You just stick it in there, kind of just give it a couple of twists. It'll go right in. You don't have to go too deep. You'll see it kind of boring it out there. Just pull it out. Clean it off a little bit with your hand. And you're going to do that for all of the holes. Now each hole will have something different in it. The black hole, obviously, you're going to plug up all the holes except for the center one, if you can see that right there. I'll show you how to put the little set screw in there too. Here's what you do. You get a little Allen key right here. You take one of these, you get one for each of the holes. Just going to put it on there. Now I drilled. These set screws on the color cartridges, you're only going to put them in the back 2 here. Those are going to be something different. So you'll just take this right here, and in your paper instructions it'll give you full detail like where exactly to put them. but you just go ahead and twist it on there nice and slowly. It'll feed itself in, self-tapping. You don't want to go too deep because you don't want it to fall in there, so you'll just go ahead and stop it about right there. And then you're going to do that for each color, for the color right there, these two right here. And on the black, you're going to do the 4 and leave the 1 in the center. I'll show you how to filling all the holes into the cartridges. You're going to seal them up with the little set screws in there. We're going to go into the compression fittings that are actually going to attach with the hoses from your ink system there. But after you use the drill tips, you drill it in there. Take the syringe, just an extra little trick here, and go into the hole. It'll actually fit in there. But what it does is it kind of smooths it out a little bit, so when you're going to put your compression fittings in, makes it a lot easier going in there. Just go ahead and twist it a little bit. And do it for the black also. Now, the first one, what I do is you could just wet it a little bit, or if you hold on to it like this, it should just go right in there. But just kind of twist and push it right in there. Twist and push. And that's 1, 2. In the kit also, we're going to give you these cartridge clips. They're storage clips, cartridge clips. What they are for is to seal the bottom of the print head here. So if, for instance, if you had a cartridge that you've been using and you want to convert it into the build it yourself kit, this will be removed, so you have an opened print head. So what you'll do is you'll just go ahead, put it in there like this, and snap it on there, and then you can continue to build what we were discussing earlier in the video. Keep these because they'll go on all the cartridges for future cartridges or different systems. What you want to attach to the front of the cartridge right here, you'll see it right on the back side there. You want to take some alcohol, or some rubbing alcohol actually, and just kind of clean this area off, or just wipe it with a paper towel. And then with the hose clip, it's very important which way you put this on here. So you can just take the paper backing, peel it off of there. You want to put it facing upwards like this. Let me just put it in the center, it's fine. But so that the tab is facing down, so it opens like that. If you flip it the other way, what can happen is the hose will pop up every time and, you know, cause you a lot of problems. But that's the way you want to put that on there, just like that. What we're going to do is, this is the bottles. You're going to go ahead and fill these up. Fill them up, you know, about close to the top there. And I'm going to show you how to actually purge the ink into the line. And on the end of here, you see these little rubber tips. So when the bottles are filled, you're going to slowly, now you got to keep an eye on this, you can't let it get away from you. But what you're going to do is just going to hold, and you're going to kind of eye it up and watch it follow the ink flow through here. When it gets close to the top, you just put the little plug back on. This is the best way to do it. You can see it running right here. I'll do another color in a second. But it's pretty much so a little bit. You can just kind of raise it and it slows it up. But you want to go ahead and get it close as possible. Put the little tip on here and it shuts it off. There. You make sure you don't push it through, or go too tight, because it'll actually go through. But there's a tiny little hole in there where you'll see when I'll do the next one, but you'll see where it goes into. After you finish that line, just come back to your bottles, and you're just going to shut that one, or plug that one up with the large plug. Okay, now we'll do the next color. Again, all the bottles are filled. Just kind of slowly pull it off. You'll see the little hole in there. You can see the line running. And just take your time in doing this. The best way to accomplish this and get it to work successful is just take your time. Once this is all done here, we're getting close to the top. Go ahead and insert it into that little hole there. Almost going to shut off. Boom. Go ahead, block it off, and then go back to your bottle, and then you just shut it off. Okay. The next what we're going to have is this little paper clip. We use these little binder clips. You They're really cheap or whatever. But what they're going to do is that's basically our shut off. It's going to shut the ink, kind of like a garden hose. If you kink it like here, there's no ink going to be going forward or backwards. So we just take this right here. You pinch it off anywhere. I usually pinch it back here so you have plenty of room to work with. You just kind of fold it like this. Put the little clip on. Make sure it's on there. That shuts it off the best. And then obviously on your side of your bottles you can attach this just keeps the hose here. There, that's just like that. Goes ahead. Okay, the next thing what we're going to do, we're actually going to put these into the holes that we made. How you're going to do that is, so I'll try to do this so you, very important how you do this. The way the printer is going to run, the bottles are going to be on the left side of the printer, so the black must be on the top. So, looking at it like this, you're going to feed it, these are going to be on the left side, you're going to feed it into the little clip here, cartridge clip. Make sure you just get them all in there. Kind of give yourself some slack. The next thing you're going to do is just do one at a time. Obviously the black's going to go over here. They've all been pre-cut to the right size. If you need to adjust it a little bit, you can. Just go ahead and remove that off of there. Now very slowly you're going to insert it into the rubber grommet there, right? Goes right down in there. And then when you're pushing it in, just give it a little twist and push. Because sometimes if you just try to jam it in there and push it in there, you'll bring the whole collar in, it'll rip, and then you got a problem right there. So that's the black. Get it up like that. So the way it should run like that. Now sometimes if it's tight to bend this over, what I do is kind of back up a little bit, because you want to get these in without ripping the grommets. The next color you'll do just the same as you did the black. Just take your time, insert it in there slowly, without doing that. Slowly, just push it in. Twist it and push. That's the key. Right in real quick. Same thing. Get it in there. Just push it in there. Make sure it goes all the way in. You don't want any gaps or any air getting to it, because then you'll start to lose the ink that you just primed up. Another thing on that, making sure this cartridge is sealed, both of them. That's the most important part of this whole kit. Now you notice we put the set screws like in the beginning. What you can always do is, if you have a little bit of clear nail polish, just go ahead and run them around the rings there. That just seals it extra. You'll probably be okay. The other thing about those set screws, you can use these over and over again. So eventually, if the cartridge, it wears out or expires, you'll use the same hardware for the next cartridge. Tap it the same way. Now, just go ahead and remember, it goes like this. I'm just going to kind of swing it underneath here again. So it looks like this. Go ahead and just tighten it up. Just so these aren't pinching, push them all down in there. And you want it to look just like that. That's perfect. Into the machine, a quick install. Like I said, you'll have paper instructions, but this is a quick run through. We have our paper clip on here, our binder clip. Keep that on here for a little bit. What I've done already is, you can see here, I've actually popped them in. They're already in here. This is one of the hose brackets that you'll get. Again, some rubbing alcohol or whatever. Go ahead and clean the inside of the printer a little bit. Let it dry it off. And then you're just going to place this straight down. You'll see these two cutouts like in here. That's where it's going to go. It's going to plant right in there, sit perfectly. You're going to take your hose, you're going to wrap it underneath. Just kind of connect it to that. Another clip you have here is, it kind of just holds it right here, and it won't get pinched from the lid going down. This also, what you see, that little rubber, green rubber thing here, that's your interlock. That kind of tells the printer that the lid is shut, because we're going to keep it over a little bit, keep it open just about 1/8 of an inch, but this will keep it so it thinks that the lid is shut, and you just go ahead and slip that down in there. Now one more thing, after the system is installed, don't forget to remove this and open all of your small air plugs. Just make sure they're all open. You never want to lift this, move this around or lift the bottles up. If you see a little air in the line, don't worry about it, don't move it, don't lift it up to try to get the air out, it'll flood the system. Real quick, some machines are very shallow, as you see this one. So normally we want you to keep the ink system right next to the machine. If you experience any heavy flooding, in other words, you start to print and a lot of the colors are distorted and it's looking really ugly, it's probably too much head pressure. So all you can do is just lift the machine up a little bit, and you know, we can go on that to another video, but just want to lift the machine up. It takes the pressure off of the ink system. A test print right now, also just getting the correct hose travel. But you see it's going back nice and smoothly. If it's too tight, it'll catch up on you, hold the cartridge up. But just go ahead and this will let you do that. So you can actually pull this out, stop it, adjust it. This is your interlock switch, and then it'll let you adjust it a little bit. If you have enough in there, it'll start again. Most important, on the system itself, if you've previously used cartridges, it's going to continue to print. The ink levels will show empty, but it doesn't stop you from printing. So just don't worry about that error that they give you. Your print settings are very important also. I'm running this right now at best and just regular plain paper. But if you want a good, like if you're doing photos or anything like that, you want to print at the highest quality. These are some of the samples that we printed just from this little Envy printer right here. But the settings are really important, so you never want to run it on draft and normal or anything like that, because it's going to burn up the print head. And you want it to last a lot longer. So as we wrap this up, as you can see, it prints up really awesome. I mean, pretty good DPI for this little printer. It's 8.5 by 11.
I think it's fairly fast too.
It's pretty quick. I mean, you'll see when it comes out.
And this is on best photo, right?
Best photo, like I said, the settings are very important, but it must be on best. And actually picked HP photo paper. You don't have to have the HP photo paper, but it increases the driver and it produces like a lot better picture. Go to inkproducts.com to get your build-it-yourself ink refill kits and systems.